Look at them. They have your eyes. Victor? Who is she? Who is she?
The woman I love.
What?
I'm leaving.
Leaving?
I didn't sign up for this.
For what?
The responsibility.
The twins were only 6 hours old when their father abandoned them. Not 6 months, not 6 weeks, 6 hours. Years later, one of those little girls would stand over his hospital bed and hold the power to save his life. But by then, he would have lost everything. His money, his friends, his health, and worst of all, the family he threw away. Stay with me until the end, because this isn't just a story about betrayal. It's a story about a mother's sacrifice, 2 daughters who learned to smile through pain, and a man who spent 20 years regretting the worst decision of his life. If this is your first time on my channel, please subscribe, like, and turn on notifications for other powerful stories like this one. The room smelled of baby powder and flowers. Amelia lay exhausted in her hospital bed. Her body ached from nearly 18 hours of labor. But none of that mattered. 2 tiny baby girls slept peacefully beside her. Twins. Perfect little miracles. She stared at them and smiled through tears. After years of infertility treatments, countless doctor appointments, and endless prayers, she finally had the family she'd always dreamed of. All she wanted now was for her husband to walk through the door and meet his daughters. When the door finally opened, her heart leaped. "Victor," she whispered. But the smile on her face faded almost immediately. He wasn't alone. A woman entered behind him. Tall, elegant, beautiful. The kind of woman who looked like she belonged on magazine covers. Amelia frowned. Who's she? Victor didn't answer immediately. He avoided looking at the twins. That was the first sign something was wrong. The second sign was the coldness in his eyes. The third sign was what he said next. "I've fallen in love with someone else." The words struck harder than any physical blow. Amelia blinked, certain she had misunderstood. What? Victor sighed impatiently. As painful as this is, we need to stop pretending. The babies stirred. One began crying softly. Amelia picked her up instinctively. Her hands trembled. Victor looked at the crying child, then said something Amelia would never forget. "They look expensive." The room went silent. Amelia stared at him. The nurse standing outside froze. Even the woman beside him looked uncomfortable. "What did you just say?" Victor rubbed his forehead. "I never wanted this." "You never wanted what?" "This." He pointed toward the twins. "The responsibility." Amelia felt her heart shatter. "You mean your daughters?" Victor didn't answer. He had already abandoned them in his mind, long before he walked into that room, long before he met the other woman, long before those babies were born. The twins began crying louder.
Victor stepped back as though the sound annoyed him. Then he pulled a folder from his briefcase. Divorce papers. Amelia stared at them in disbelief. Victor, I've made my decision. You can't be serious. I am. You want to leave me? No. His voice was ice cold. I already left. The words destroyed something inside her. The woman beside him gently touched his arm. Victor turned around, without kissing his daughters, without touching them, without looking back. He walked away and took Amelia's future with him. 3 weeks later, the landlord changed the locks. Amelia stood outside, carrying one baby in each arm. A diaper bag hung from her shoulder. Rain soaked her clothes. Her daughters cried from hunger. Everything she owned sat inside 2 suitcases on the sidewalk. The landlord couldn't even meet her eyes. I'm sorry. Amelia nodded. She wasn't angry. He was simply doing his job. The real betrayal belonged to someone else. Cars passed. People stared. Nobody stopped. Nobody helped. Then one of the twins suddenly stopped crying. The little girl looked up at her mother and smiled. A tiny, innocent smile. A smile that knew nothing of eviction. Nothing of betrayal. Nothing of fear. And no idea how she would survive tomorrow. The first year nearly broke her. The second year almost finished her. But Amelia kept going. Because quitting wasn't an option. Not when 2 little girls depended on her. During the day, she cared for the twins. At night, she cleaned office buildings. While executives slept comfortably in luxury homes, Amelia scrubbed floors until her hands bled. Sometimes she returned home just in time to make breakfast before collapsing from exhaustion. Many nights, she skipped meals. When the twins asked why she wasn't eating, she always smiled. I'm not hungry. It was a lie. She was starving. But mothers become experts at hiding pain. Years passed. The girls grew. Sophia inherited Amelia's kindness. Sarah inherited her determination. Together, they became Amelia's reason for living. Then came the Christmas she would never forget. The twins were 7 years old. Money was worse than ever. There would be no presents, no toys, no new clothes, nothing. Amelia cried herself to sleep the night before Christmas. She felt like she had failed as a mother. The next morning, she woke to excited voices. The girls were sitting beside a tiny plastic Christmas tree. 3 wrapped boxes rested underneath. Amelia frowned. She hadn't bought any gifts. Then she remembered. The boxes. Empty boxes she had found behind a grocery store. Boxes she wrapped in old newspaper because she couldn't bear to leave the tree empty. The girls opened them. Inside each box was nothing. But neither child complained. Instead, Sophia pulled out a folded piece of paper. She smiled. "Mommy, look." Amelia unfolded the note. "Thank you for always loving us." Another note read, "One day we'll buy you a big house." The final note made her collapse into tears. "When I become a doctor, you'll never have to cry again." Amelia rushed into the bathroom, turned on the faucet, and sobbed where her daughters couldn't hear her. At that same moment, Victor was living the life he thought he wanted. Luxury vacations, expensive restaurants, designer clothes. The woman he chose over his family seemed perfect. Social media showed endless smiles, success, freedom, happiness. But photographs can lie. Behind closed doors, arguments grew. Business deals failed. Debt accumulated. Friends disappeared. The glamorous woman who once adored him became increasingly distant. Then, one morning, she packed her bags and left.
Just as he had once left his own family. Years later, Victor sat alone in a hospital room, his health failing, his fortune gone, his phone silent. No visitors, no friends, nobody. The door opened. A young doctor entered. She looked strangely familiar. Victor couldn't understand why. She checked his chart, adjusted his blanket, spoke kindly. The entire time, she fought tears because she knew exactly who he was. The man lying in that hospital bed was the father who abandoned her 6 hours after she was born. And he didn't even recognize her. If this story touched you in a way, drop it in the comments section. To be continued.